What is going on, guys? Back at y'all with another video today. And today we are going to be bringing you guys our first off-season mock draft. And I know we were both kind of pretty excited for this. We were trying to find mock drafts online, and then I had the idea to go ahead and just do a video on it. And that'll be kind of more
hmm
representative because the online stuff can be kind of outdated. You know, we're in a weird time in the off-season, so we figured we'd just bring y'all a mock draft between us two. And yeah, without further ado, do you want to explain the rules?
Yeah, so we're just going to be doing our first two rounds of our Dynasty mock draft here. Take it with a grain of salt. It's pre-free agency, pre-draft, so it's not going to be as accurate as it would be at the time. But
Yeah, for sure.
yeah, so both of us are going to be picking the first two rounds. We're going to be alternating picks, and we discussed before that I'll pick first. Is there anything you think we need to add on to that? Well, yeah, we're going to be getting 45 seconds each, and then we're going to explain our picks, and then the next person will move on with their pick.
Yeah,
But
sounds about good to me. I'm trying to think. I think there's one more thing I wanted to add. Oh yeah, so yeah, this is a startup mock draft. This is the pool of
oh
all
yeah,
players. 10 team. We're doing just a standard 10 team format. No tight end premium, nothing like that. We are
10
doing
teams,
super flex, two quarterbacks. So places a premium on those
two
quarterbacks.
quarterbacks. Yeah.
And yeah, we are drafting from the full pool of players. This is a startup draft. And without further ado, give me 1 second. Gavin, you are on the clock.
All right, thank you, Mr. Goodell. The first pick, I think it's pretty obvious. You're gonna have to go with Patrick Mahomes here. He's 25 years old. He's got the youth. He can, with the way quarterbacks are playing now, they can play till they're 40. So, I mean, realistically, he's got 10 good years left. He's got Andy Reid. He's got a great offense, a lot of weapons. That's pretty self-explanatory for the first pick. That's about it for me.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think that's got to be the pick right now at the 101. And yeah, not really too much analysis on that one. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and move on to my pick, number two overall. And I am going to start the clock right now. And number two is definitely an interesting one. You could argue for a few guys here. There's a few
Mhm.
very good quarterbacks. There's a few running backs. But I'm just going to go with the one and only Christian McCaffrey, simply because the point differential advantage he gives you at that running back position is just far greater than you get at any other position. There's a lot of elite there's not a lot of them, but there are elite quarterbacks out there. There's a lot of those very top tier two running backs, none of them which catch as many passes as Christian McCaffrey does, provide that
Yeah,
super high floor, ultra high ceiling. There's no one in the NFL like Christian McCaffrey, and I'm going to go ahead and take him here and be pretty happy about it.
yeah.
All right.
I feel like he's been playing so well for so long, and he's only 24 still. So
Yeah, absolutely.
good pick.
He's an elite player. Absolutely elite player. So you are on the clock at number three overall.
All right, number three. I think I'd go quarterback again. I'm gonna go Josh Allen here. He was the quarterback one in redraft this year in full PPR. He, I mean, he did it all. He's 24 years old. He's young, same as Mahomes, and he's got Stephon Diggs for the next 5 years or so. I bet.
Yeah,
Playing at a top tier level. And they didn't even have a good run game this year. I think if they get a good runner back there, it'll open it up for him and he can play even better.
yeah, for sure.
So I would take Josh Allen there as a cornerstone of my franchise for the next few years.
Yeah, and he rushes in touchdowns like almost no other. Like he is providing like legit. He's had more rushing touchdowns than anyone since coming into the league. He's had 8 touchdowns, I believe, in every single year, and that is the end of that pick. But to kind of finish up on Josh Allen, he's been an extremely safe player because every time they get in the end zone, he is their best goal line back, and he is their best player in the red zone. And he's a beast. He's an elite quarterback. He gives you that ceiling with the passing as well as with the rushing. So yeah, I think that's a pretty good pick. And now I am on the clock again, and there's a few guys I think I could go here. There's a couple of very good quarterbacks, really multiple very good quarterbacks. There's I think two running backs I would consider here, but I think I'm gonna go with Kyler Murray. And Kyler was someone that I was pretty high on coming out of college, and the thing with him is you got to bet on these serial winners. Kyler Murray has been a winner in high school. Yeah, I think he went to one state championships, a couple of them, I believe. He went to college. He went to OU. He took them to the playoffs. He went to the NFL, first overall pick, instantly playing like at an MVP level. He's an incredible athlete. Obviously, everyone knows the baseball story. And he's got the arm
hmm
talent as well. This isn't like a Lamar Jackson where, not that Lamar Jackson doesn't have arm talent, but this isn't a situation where the guy's only kind of Blake Bortling his way to really good fantasy production. Kyler is a legitimately great thrower and a great runner, and I think he's a really safe pick at the top of the draft.
Definitely, definitely.
All right, you're on the clock.
All right, picking four or picking five. Okay. Right here, I think a running back goes, and with all the hype this offseason, I think it's going to build up even more than it is now. I'm going to pick Jonathan Taylor right here.
Yeah.
He's 22 years old. He just proved himself to be a workhorse. I think in the end of the season, it was him and David Montgomery. They were like running back one and two,
Yeah.
and he got the bulk of the carries. He's not the best pass catcher, but he proves that he's competent in the pass game. And I think you can get him as a running back one for maybe the next 6 years, and that could be a definite cornerstone of your dynasty team. So
Absolutely. And I mean, regardless of the quarterback, they've shown they want to run the ball behind that really good offensive line. And we'll get into some guys like this in the future, but not all of the elite running backs in the NFL have to be, not all of the elite fantasy backs have to be great pass catchers. When these guys are elite
right,
rushers, they can make up for it on the ground for sure. So I like that pick, definitely. As RB2 overall,
yeah,
I would agree with
and
that.
he showed improvement too.
Yeah, got better as the season goes on, and I bet will continue to get better with the full offseason. So, with that being said, I'm now on the clock at the 106. And with my last pick, I took Kyler. I think he's very safe as just a good quarterback and a great fantasy asset with his legs. But here, I'm actually going to go with another quarterback, with Deshaun Watson, who, even more so than Murray, I think Deshaun has proven himself to be an elite real life quarterback. And because I mean he's been like top three in every single category for like multiple years now. He lost DeAndre Hopkins, he still did it. He lost Will Fuller, he still did it. He's the career leader in NFL history in completion percentage and yards per attempt. He's proven to be an elite passer. He's a great runner in the red zone, and he's legitimately one of the best five players in the NFL. And I think he's securing that at
Yeah.
like the sixth overall. He's only 25 years old. Got to be happy with that. So, yeah, goes to you, the 107.
All right, 107. I think I'd go running back again here. I think just with the youth and the talent, I would have to go with Saquon Barkley. It is kind of scary coming off a soft tissue injury, but I think he's shown that he can bounce back, and his rehab is unlike any other. I'm
Yeah.
willing to bet the Giants are going to bulk up the offensive line here soon, and they'll get another QB in that is going to check down. Saquon's going to get more receptions, and he's already shown that he's an elite runner. So I think that's a safe pick for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, I totally agree. He's still very young, and despite the situation, like you said, proved himself really early on. People don't talk enough about how good of a pass catcher he was because we have like guys like Christian McCaffrey and Alvin Kamara, but what he did as a rookie was like totally unprecedented as a pass catcher. So yeah, I like that pick as well. So going back to me, I believe the 108, right? Yes. We have a few running backs, we have a few quarterbacks. I am going to take the first wide receiver off the board. I'm going to take my guy, Justin Jefferson. He is my wide receiver one right now. I think he's shown that he has all the tools to be an alpha wide receiver. Oh, sorry, I did not start the clock, but that's okay. We get to talk about him a little longer. I think Jefferson has shown he has all the tools to be an alpha wide receiver in the NFL. He has the speed, he has the burst, he has the route running for sure. He's great in the open field. He wins contested catches all the time. He's really good in the red zone. And this offense, I think people don't give Kirk Cousins enough credit for his deep ball and just his overall accuracy. So he's, at least for now, tied to Kirk Cousins. And it's a consolidated target share, meaning, the targets are going to Thielen, Jefferson, Cook. That's it. There's not really anyone else there. And I think Jefferson, what he did this year, obviously
Right.
breaking the all-time record, I mean, it's unprecedented. He's only 21 years old, and you're locking that up in the late first round. Feel pretty good about that one.
Yes, I would agree. I'd agree. Thielen's targets are also probably going to go down in the future years with him being over 30 now. So that'll be safe for the future.
All right, back to you on the clock.
All right, the 109. I think I'm going to lock up here if I'm picking first round. My startup draft, I'm going to lock up my quarterback of the future. I'm going to take Justin Herbert here. He showed this year, offensive rookie of the year, most likely. That he's
Yeah,
got my vote for that. He's so young. He's 22. He's got a great cast around him. Just got a new coach, which is going to help him win more games, put him in better positions. And I mean, he just played lights out this year. Just came in first
yeah.
game against the Chiefs, and he gave them a run for their money. I think he's going to be a stud
He's
for the
special
future.
for sure. I like that pick. He's also my QB4, and you took him right there as QB4. Because again, in comparison to like guys like Lamar and then other quarterbacks we're going to talk about in a little bit. I think Herbert's proven himself to be a total elite quarterback in real life, as well as he provides you that rushing cheat code for fantasy purposes. And yeah, you're locking that up. Like that pick a
Mm-hmm.
lot. And here with my next pick, I believe I'm at the 110. Yeah, you just took Herbert.
110, right?
Had a few quarterbacks go. There's definitely a few that I think you could argue should go here. Um, but I'm going to go ahead if we're talking about trying to win now, and let's say in the actual startup you are trying to win now. I'm going to lock up a workhorse running back because it's pretty hard to find those guys. And I'm going to go ahead and take Nick Chubb here. I have said for multiple years now, a little biased as a Jets fan, anti-Giants always gets me happy. But I've said that Nick Chubb was the best rusher, just pure rusher in football for a few years now. He doesn't give you that pass catching upside, but I think on the Browns with that offensive line, with Kevin Stefanski, what he wants to do running the ball, he doesn't need 5 targets a game to have fantasy value. All he keeps doing every week is getting 20 touches, running for 150 yards, and scoring touchdowns every freaking week. And I think we're going to see, he's only 25 years old. I think we're probably going to see that for at least the next 3 or 4 years. And he's an extremely safe floor player because, like I said, I believe him to be the best rusher in football. And you're getting that at the end of the first round. So I feel pretty good about that one.
All right.
Back
I'm
to
picking up
you.
the 111 now.
Yes.
Okay. On this one, I'm gonna go quarterbacking, and I'm picking Lamar Jackson.
Love
He
that.
had a down year this year. He's 24 years old. He's still got the bulk of his career ahead of him, especially as a quarterback. And he's shown that he can run and he doesn't get hurt. Like he's been healthy, played 16 or he's played all the games he can through his first part of his career. And nobody runs like him. The last person we saw that ran like him was Michael Vick, and that just shows like how much of a generational talent he is. Like
Yeah, for
you're
sure.
getting another running back, and I would love to have him as my QB1 for the future.
And I think he'll continue to develop as a passer. He's still young. They might add a number one receiver like an Allen Robinson or, in the draft or whatever. And yeah, I like
Yeah.
that pick. I'm a Lamar fan, and I really like that pick for fantasy purposes. Next up, I'm on the clock again. And going back to that theme of workhorse running backs in terms of for winning now in Dynasty, because there are tons of middling wide receiver twos, but for workhorse running backs, there are not many of them. And I'm going to go ahead and take one that is a mere, I believe, 21 or 22 years old in Cam Akers. This might be a little bit of a reach, but I don't really care because I like being, I like buying high on guys. I know that you could say small sample size, you could say whatever. I don't care. I've seen enough from Cam Akers to know that he's an elite running back between the tackles. He has the burst to get through the holes and to get to the next level. And good luck to safeties trying to tackle this guy. I believe he's 220 pounds. So he has the burst. He has the size and the elusiveness of these guys like David Montgomery and Jacobs. But Akers has the speed to capitalize on that and hit home runs. He's tied to a great coach in Sean McVay that wants to run the ball. And yeah, he's proven he could be a workhorse. The Rams showed commitment to him by allowing him to be the workhorse at the end. And I absolutely would have Akers as like a fringe top 6, top 7 running back. Even if right now it might be a little bit of a reach, I think this pick in 2 years will be a steal. I think Cam Akers is a top 5 running back in
Yeah.
the NFL in 2 years.
And you'd rather be too early than too late anyways. So if you can get that workhorse running back who's going to finish as a top 3 runner for the next 5 years, go for it. Get him right now.
Yeah, definitely. All right, sir, on the clock.
All right. So that's the end of the first.
It is.
Picking first overall in the second round. I'm going to go with Dalvin Cook here. He's 25. He was considered an MVP this year by some. He came back after, I think he sat out a couple of weeks from injury. And you're still likely to get 3 running back 1 type seasons out of him. And that'll win you some games. That could win you a championship. And I mean, of course, he's not going to have the like upside of Cam Akers and JT when they're 21 and 22 years old, but you're still getting somebody who's going to finish as a top tier running back for the next
Absolutely.
3 or 4 seasons.
Yeah, like Nick Chubb, I think Dalvin has proven himself as one of the best runners in football. Like he has amazing burst and he's got the home run speed and he's a great touchdown scorer. So yeah, I love that. I mean, every year he's a top 3-ish running back when he's on the field. So definitely good with that pick. I'm on the clock next, and I think I'm going to start hitting some. There's a couple of quarterbacks I think I could take here, but I'm going to go towards the wide receivers here, and I'm going to take a guy I've been very high on for a little over a year now, AJ Brown. And there's another receiver from Ole Miss that I could take here, but I do think what AJ Brown has done with the Titans has been a little more impressive than what DK has done with the Seahawks, because AJ Brown, he
Yeah.
gets the ball in his hands, and he's impossible to tackle. I mean, he's like a running back with the football. That's it. The NFL is increasingly going towards more positionless players, and AJ Brown, he has the ability of these hybrid guys, and he's still an elite receiver downfield. He gets open. He scores a bunch of touchdowns. Who knew that he could keep scoring touchdowns, because he's really good at scoring touchdowns. But he's got great hands. He's got everything you want in a number one receiver, and absolutely like taking him at the top of the second round.
Yeah. Good pick.
All right, back to you.
All right. In the first round, I took Allen at this pick, and I'm going to pair Allen with a wide receiver one. I'm going to pick Tyreek Hill right here. He's 26. He's playing with Mahomes, who's going to get him the ball every season. And yeah, I mean, that's all I got to say. He's great. He can score touchdowns, and he's going to get an 80-yard touchdown every other week, most likely. So
yeah, tied to Patrick Mahomes. Not too much more you could ask. Great receiver, still young, and a legitimate game breaker at that position. I mean, he is probably the most impactful receiver in the league for that reason, and I also like that pick for sure. Back to me. I do think I'm going to go. This one's pretty tough. I'm going to put myself in the clock already. But I think I'm going to go ahead and take Alvin Kamara here. I don't love Kamara right now in Dynasty, because I know that situation is a little volatile. We don't know who the quarterback is going to be. All I know is that he has elite burst, and he's probably he's up there with Christian McCaffrey as the best pass catcher in the NFL. And there's not very many running backs in the NFL where I watch and I'm like, oh my gosh, this guy's a game changer. And Alvin Kamara is one of those few guys where his burst and home run hitting ability it's like unlike any other in the league. Like maybe Dalvin Cook rivals it. But Alvin Kamara is still one of the best runners in football, a great pass catcher. We don't know what the target volume will look like, but I would imagine that Sean Payton wants to get the ball in his best player's hands. So, yeah, not bad there.
Yeah.
All right, back to you.
All right, picking at 5, first round with JT. I'm gonna pair JT with my future QB1. I'm gonna pick Justin Fields here. It could be a reach, but it could also pay off. He's a winner. He goes around, and I mean, I think that over Trevor Lawrence, he has a more rushing upside, which is more fantasy football upside. I think he's probably going to be the best fantasy quarterback out of this draft class.
Yeah.
And I think pairing him with JT, both the Field is 21, JT's 22. Those are two guys that you can have on your fantasy team for a long time.
Yeah, I like that pick. And the thing is, with Fields, you're not going to have to take him this early. Like, you're not going to have to take him in the second round of your actual startups. You could probably get him in like the third or the fourth. And, I always shoot for upside whenever I'm playing fantasy football, because you play to win. You don't play to get second or third. And Justin Fields has absolute upside to be a top 3. He has the upside to be a top 1 fantasy quarterback. That's how good this guy is. He's got a great deep ball, great runner of the football, and just an elite athlete and a career winner. So absolutely love that pick. I think Justin Fields is a guy that I want to bet on going forward. But moving on, I'm going to take his mate, Trevor Lawrence, out of the same class. A lot of people, I don't want to say are getting lower on him, but what happens with these guys when they're in college for so long is they're such great of prospects where people just find stuff as we get closer to the draft to nitpick them for. And Trevor is obviously one of the best quarterback prospects in a long time. I think what he gives you with his arm can definitely get close to what Justin can give you on the ground. And Trevor Lawrence also has that rushing ability to get you, say, 6 rushing touchdowns a year. He's a really good athlete. And he's also got a great deep ball, just like Fields. And that situation is pretty good, low-key. I mean, with DJ Shark and Laviska Shenault, I haven't liked a lot of their coaching hires. But I think you got to like the idea of having Trevor Lawrence in the mid-second as your like low-end QB1.
Yeah. Yeah, right. I would agree. And like that situation right there, like somebody maybe reaches on Fields there, that's gonna push the agenda for drafting a quarterback, and that could also flip around. Like right now, I'm gonna take advantage of that, and I'm really surprised that DK Metcalf would slide this far.
Late second
being
round.
as young as he is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would take Metcalf right here. I
I
mean,
feel
he's
very good about that.
crazy. He's young. He's got Russell Wilson for the next.
Yeah.
Russell Wilson's gonna. I feel like he'll be playing for a while. You probably got 3 or 4 years of Russell Wilson out of that.
Yeah.
He's just a red zone fiend of for touchdowns. He's similar to Devontae, where he's gonna score a lot. I love DK Metcalf right here, pairing him with Saquon Barkley. Yeah, I like that to the start of my team.
Yeah, definitely. For receivers, I definitely like to look for like the league winning, like for the highs. I don't really care how consistent they are because I think every receiver is inconsistent. And I think DK absolutely has the like Devontae Adams league winning type year upside that can win you dynasty championships. So I do like that pick as well. Trying to look through the list right now. I think there's a few guys I could justify taking, but I am going to bet on the youth at the running back position and a guy that I think is very talented in DeAndre Swift. And I think it's very rare that you find these guys, like I was talking about with Saquon and Alvin Kamara. It's very rare that you find these guys that are so polished as receivers immediately. And that's exactly what DeAndre Swift is. He's a great route runner. He has great hands. He has great burst to pair with all of those to get open and to make linebackers look stupid. And we saw him this year. He's a great touchdown scorer. I want to say he scored like 10 to 12 touchdowns this year, and he didn't even play that much. And I'll get the tweet up on screen right here, but shout out to FB God on Twitter for this one. He was the 7th best running back in fantasy football after the Lions bye this year. And now Matt Patricia is gone. Jared Goff is in at quarterback, who might not be great, but I don't think it's going to be as horrible of a situation as people may think. And I think the talent will prevail there. So I like DeAndre Swift there.
Yeah, good pick. And like with Kenny Galladay most likely leaving, Marvin Jones most likely leaving, they're going to be putting the ball on the ground a lot too.
Yeah.
Because they won't be throwing it, especially with Stafford gone and Goff there. So, yeah.
Definitely. All right, back to you.
Picking 9, second round. I had Herbert in the first round. I think you can get a top 5 quarterback talent from Herbert. So I'm going to go for a win now strategy here, and I'm going to draft Devontae Adams. I mean,
yeah.
Pretty self-explanatory. He played less games than most of the receivers that finished as wide receiver ones, and he was the wide receiver one. 19 touchdowns in what was it, 14 games?
Yeah, it was ridiculous the pace he was for. And that happened last year as well. He had so many touchdowns last year when he played.
Yeah,
and
he'll probably be in his prime until Aaron Rodgers retires. So you're probably going to see that production for the next 3 or so years. And I think you can win championships with that duo, Herbert and Adams. So
yeah, I definitely agree with that. And we were talking about I was discussing the point differential advantage earlier with McCaffrey, and Devontae kind of gives you that right now at receiver. I mean, he's one of the best touchdown scorers in the league. And also about the age thing is, his game isn't really centered around speed, so I think he might have more longevity than people think. And yeah, he's a great player, arguably the best receiver. So I like that. And now back to me for the last pick, I believe, of the second round of our mock draft. Or are we doing a few more?
Let's just do 12.
Okay.
We did 12 the first one.
Okay. So with this pick, I am going to go with another running back who I think is young, very talented, and that is J.K. Dobbins. And the thing with Dobbins is I'm a little worried, and I would say a little lower than some on him, just because I realize how great of a rusher he is. But I think the Ravens will be hesitant to use him as a total workhorse. I think Gus Edwards will probably be back. They've shown they want to use a committee. Lamar scores touchdowns as well. But at the same time, he is absolutely the most efficient runner in the league this year. He was this year. I think his yards created was number 1. All of the efficiency metrics he was number 1. And he's an elite runner. And like I was talking about with Chubb earlier, you don't have to be a great pass catcher to have that fantasy ceiling. And I think Dobbins absolutely has the talent on the ground if he's given the reins to be that guy.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, back to you.
Okay, picking at the 211. This could be a reach, but I'm going to go for the youth. I'm going to draft Miles Sanders here. He's 23. He's got so much upside. It's hard not to draft him, especially in Dynasty. Like I took him last year in redraft just because I thought he was going to blow up. He did, and he got a little hurt. That's the major question with him is he's never really had the workhorse role.
Yeah, for
like
sure.
At Penn State, and now with the Eagles. So we'll see. That could pay off, or it could flop. But that's who I'm going to take at the 211.
The talent's there for sure with him. Like you said, we don't know about the workhorse ability, but the talent is absolutely there. He had the most most 75-yard plus runs in the league this year by a lot.
Yeah.
And he's a great runner. Back to me to I think this is the
Finish
last
up
pick.
the second round.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think there's a few guys I could take here. I'm gonna go ahead and reset the clock. Dak Prescott's still on the board and still an elite quarterback. Joe Burrow as well. Okay, this can change a lot, and this is extremely landing spot dependent, but I'm going to go ahead and take Najee Harris at this spot because we have seen rookie running backs that have produced like him in college immediately look at Josh Jacobs, immediately come into the NFL and produce at a high level. And even if in year one he doesn't give you as much production as, say, a Zeke or or like a Saquon or a Kamara, we've seen what these guys can do and how easy it is for these running backs to transition. And he's a great pass catcher. He's great between the tackles. He's a great touchdown scorer. And obviously, he has the workhorse build. And most importantly, I think he's going to get the draft capital to be a workhorse. And also, because of that, I think he'll probably go to like a pretty solid team. Now, again, this is landing spot dependent. If he goes to like a Pittsburgh or somehow if he goes to like a Seattle, he could rise even more than this. And after a good first year, Josh Jacobs, Miles Sanders, those guys, their values skyrocketed. So even if you don't want to hold on to a guy like Najee, you could sell him for more, I think, after a good year.
Yeah. Like you talked about earlier, anybody, like you're going to take draft capital over talent any day of the week. That's why most teams last year would pick Clyde over DeAndre Swift or, JT was right there too, but I think Clyde went higher just because of the system he's in and the first round capital. So if Najee goes in the first round, which he most likely will, he's going to get that workhorse role, and that's something you can bet on.
Yeah, for sure. All right, I think that's about it for this video. Pretty fun.
Yeah.
We do this very loosely without too much research. This is a very early mock draft, and we're just kind of seeing where we think guys should go.
Yeah.
And
a lot of things will change.
Yeah, lots will change, obviously, like you said, with the draft and free agency. And that's it for our first 2 rounds mock draft. If you guys liked it, I think we'll probably do a rounds 3 and 4 mock draft, which will be pretty interesting because that will include a lot of rookies. That's where a lot of those guys would go. And subscribe if you're new, like, comment, follow us on Twitter, on screen, and in the comment section. And see you guys.
All right. See y'all next time.